Hey fellow gamers, or well, Star Trek fans today, because we are covering Star Trek Lower Decks Episode 3. We get a lot of Jack Ransom, and we get a lot of shenanigans. I cannot wait to break this down. I'm going to give you all the Easter eggs and references that I find. Alright, let's get into it.
That was titled Essence. I wrote it about my mom. This next piece is also about my mom.
Alright, so this is an obvious callback to The Next Generation. We would often see episodes start with members of the bridge crew and, other members of the starship playing music. We would see Riker playing his saxophone and Data playing different instruments. And Picard even had a flute, I believe, that he played sometimes. So this is an obvious callback to that.
Computer, margaritas, frozen, salt.
Wait, don't we have to report that we're done so we can get a new task?
Don't sweat it, baby girl. Like many things, commanders have no idea how long it takes to balance a phase variance.
You never admit the actual amount of time it takes to finish a job. If you did, your days would be packed.
Alright, so we see the lower decks completing a job and then taking a nice margarita break to celebrate, and they reference this as buffer time, and this is a callback to Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, where Scotty kind of admits that he always says a job is going to take 4 times as long as it really is supposed to. And this makes Scotty always look like a miracle worker.
Stupid away mission.
Ensign Tendi, you were supposed to be in sickbay 20 minutes ago.
I'm coming.
Personal log. I've completed all of today's assignments ahead of schedule, and I've requested more. Space. The funnest frontier?
Alright, so without buffer time, the ship is struggling. Everybody's stressed out. Everybody's just trying to hurry and get their stuff done. And it is not going well, except for Boimler, who is ahead of schedule, getting everything done. This brings back a reference to Voyager when 7 of 9 has at least one episode, maybe more, where she's focusing on efficiency and doing a good job.
I'm picking up an increase in atmospheric hydro amounts.
Yeah, they're called clouds, man.
Just to be safe, I'll disengage autopilot and land her manually.
That's literally what the autopilot's for. It's an automatic pilot. We could have just beamed down.
Alright, so we get 2 jewels from this trip down. We would often see various series. You would see them have to take a shuttle down to a planet because for some reason they can't beam down, various reasons. And then they would often have to switch to autopilot to make it a little more dramatic, or not to autopilot. They would often have to manually fly down instead of leaving autopilot on, which seems a little weird, right? Wouldn't you rather have... Anyways, so obviously Mariner touches on this when Jack decides he's going to manually land it because of clouds, which I thought was pretty funny. And then when they're exiting the ship, she references, well, why didn't we just transport down? Well played, Lower Decks. Well played.
This isn't crystal.
He's got wood! He's got wood!
Uh-oh, that doesn't sound peaceful.
Oh god, I'm gonna die!
We live on a spaceship. Nobody is dying from a spear wound. This is a classic. What am I, Kirk? Is this the 2260s? All right.
Alright, so the tired Starfleet officer brings down the wrong artifact, and it's, of course, the artifact that they're arch enemies, and so it makes these primitive aliens with crystal spears just attack them. And, of course, they get surrounded and overran by this old technology, and one of them gets speared in the shoulder, and, he's afraid he's going to die, and Mariner makes the classic reference, we're on a starship. You're not going to die from a spear wound. I mean, how many episodes do we see? Mostly in classic Trek, but sometimes it happened in Next Generation too, where it just seemed a little bit silly that a primitive race or civilization could get the upper hand so easily on the Federation officers. So, nice callback here. I liked it.
It's on my schedule.
Don't move, human! We have you surrounded!
Yeah, but I have a phaser. These guys are lightweights. This is what the red alert's about?
Alright, so the spear and sword wielding aliens are on ship and they're taking over because the captain said, keep doing your task and repel the aliens at the same time, and nobody's really paying attention or doing a very good job. Boimler, who is not affected by any of this at all, of course, quickly, puts it together like, why we have a red alert? He pulls out his phaser and takes care of 3 of the aliens that have him surrounded, and he goes to the bridge to find out, what is going on.
No, I don't have any.
Because you play it safe. You said it. That's our team under that geode. Let me do what I'm good at. Let me save them. Sometimes you have to do what's wrong to survive.
All right, so Mariner and Jack Ransom are trying to decide who's going to do the fight. They're both giving their case to why they should be the one. But Jack really steps up here and proves that he is a good first officer. And we've seen this a couple times in different series where the first officer will try to tell the captain that, you shouldn't go down and do this. Let me do it.
Come on, big guy. I only need my hands for this one.
So Jack goes out to fight. He throws his weapon down and goes old school Kirk on him with his, double-handed fist blows and all kinds of Kirk moves. And, you even get the music in the background. Awesome scene right here. Really like the way they did it. And you can see Mariner gets a little wooed by him and is impressed with his abilities.
Which is why the Boimler effect is something we will never forget. So named after the laziest, most corner-cutting officer in Starfleet history, Brad Boimler, seen here with one of the great birds of the galaxy. Anyway, let's...
All right, so Boimler gets warp downtime thing named after him. They call it the Boimler effect, which is the opposite of Boimler's mentality, which is hilarious. In the episode, he's a little sad about it, and everybody's like, oh, everybody forget about it. And they flash forward, and they're actually teaching the Boimler effect to people. A couple interesting things, lots of species there. One of them is a Borg, which is kind of cool. Kind of a callback to Picard, perhaps, maybe an XB. Or maybe it could be any of them that they brought back, Hugh or 7 of 9 kind of thing. But I thought that was cool. And next we get a picture of Boimler, and he's got an eagle in there that he's holding up, and they reference that as to one of the great birds of the galaxy, which is Gene Roddenberry's nickname. So nice little callback there. And then finally, to end it, we get this scene right here where they reference the great Miles O'Brien.
In Starfleet history, Chief Miles O'Brien.
All right, guys, that wraps up our references and Easter eggs for episode 3 of Star Trek Lower Decks. Thanks for listening. Please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, help us keep growing the community, and have yourself a great day.